Okay, we're back with Jamie. This is a short section of clips. We've got a few different things to talk about here, but one of the most popular things that we have put out over the last sort of couple of weeks here is certainly around AI. And I use ChatGPT and different AI tools for everything. And one of those things is looking at the analytics of this show. And straight away in the top 5 and even in the top 10, all of those clips are definitely around AI. We know it's a subject that people want to talk about, so I've invited Jamie back. Thank you, Jamie, for joining again. Yeah, everyone's using ChatGPT, but what are they actually getting out of it? This isn't a how-to show. This is just really us having a chat about it, talking about our use cases and how we use it, and hopefully it's useful for you guys. And if so, drop some comments in the bottom and say how you want to use it and different things that you use. We might learn something ourselves and maybe add to a different episode moving forward. So the main subject that we touched on is AI impacting creativity. So Jamie, I think you're the best place for this one. What's your take? Is AI helping or killing creativity?
Both. Both. I think AI is definitely making us more lazy in terms of content creation, copywriting, even down to things like writing an email. No one wants to
Yeah,
write an email these days because you can
I
get
don't.
ChatGPT to do it for you. And don't get me wrong, when I'm tired, I'm like, AI, ChatGPT even, will you tidy this up for me? But it's definitely making us more lazy. You're able to create a lot of content in a short amount of time. Unfortunately, a lot of the time that content isn't great. It's
Yeah.
missing the personal aspect, the personal storytelling.
Nah,
It's
nah.
definitely killing creativity. People aren't thinking for themselves enough anymore when it comes to copywriting and content creation, even down to brainstorming ideas. People are using ChatGPT to do that for them. And, the more you use these platforms to do these things, the harder it's going to be able to do it. Your creativity, you've got to be creative as much as you can so you can get better at being creative. It's a skill, isn't it? So if you're constantly using
Nah.
ChatGPT to do everything for you, you're going to lose that spark a little bit and it's going to show up in your content. But on the
Go
flip
on.
side, it's not because so it saves up time and it means that you can focus on other stuff. It can help you format, it can help you brainstorm, and it can help creativity as well, but it's
Nah,
only if it's
nah.
used in the right ways, really.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking about the things you said there. I mean, I've definitely used it. When you said it sort of it's not helping you long term, I guess it's spell check, yeah. If every time a spelling comes up in spell check and you always just always click correct, you're never learning to spell it. And I guess that was
Yeah.
a micro form of AI. You might want to do it this way. And I know that I've definitely thought, right, I need help with an email. I put it into ChatGPT. I think I've probably spent more time in ChatGPT trying to get it to make the email better than if I'd have just written it myself in the first instance. So although
Yeah.
it it's definitely good at those facts and those actuals, but it's not good at the nuance and it's not good at the tone and the kind of that. It's not always Matt. It's not always Jamie, and I think that's it. And I guess we'll get there, and it'll certainly get more and more thing. But you're absolutely right. I think that you get lazy, you chuck it in, and I guess that I think I probably know the answer to this. But if you do you read stuff that you can clearly tell is AI yourself
Every day of my life. Um,
every day of your life? Yeah.
Obviously part of I even read so, I obviously post a lot on LinkedIn. I'm very active on
Yeah.
LinkedIn,
Yeah.
which means I also get a lot of messages on LinkedIn. I would say 80% of the messages, if they're sales messages especially, I get through from LinkedIn
Yeah.
have been written by AI, and I can tell straight away,
They're
and
awful. They're awful.
I
Yeah.
don't reply because I just think if you're not gonna be able to, you know and the worst part is a lot of the time as well, even though
Mm.
I'm a copywriter, sometimes copywriters try and sell their services to me. If
Yeah.
you can't even take the time to send me a personalized message that hasn't been written by AI, or even edit
Yeah.
the message that AI has written. If you haven't got time to do that, then you obviously haven't done your research on me, and I'm not going to buy your services. So even
No,
down to things like messages, sales messages, we need to be more careful what we're sending to people because it's an instant put off. And then obviously when you're scrolling through LinkedIn, part of my routine in the mornings, my morning engagement, haven't done it this morning, but
yeah,
in my morning engagement, I see about 3 posts that look the exact same. And it's all the same topic over and over again. And
yeah.
obviously I know my feed, the algorithm is based on what I engage with and what I'm
Mm,
interested in. So
mm,
I'm gonna see a lot of posts from
mm,
ghostwriters, marketers, social media managers. So I see a lot of those sort of posts. So they are going to be similar topics anyway. But, most of them have 100% been written by AI and not edited.
totally.
And I just think it's just the content's getting a little bit boring. There's no spice. Like there's no spelling mistakes anymore. Like I actually enjoy seeing a spelling mistake on someone's post.
You pointed one out to me this morning
It's
before
a
even 9 o'clock. So yeah,
typo.
thank you. Thanks for that. That's it's always what you want to see first thing in the morning, and then like without any context, you're like, there's a typo there. Where? And do we like, and do we live in a world where, well, I mean, it is, isn't it, where it's all the content's the same. Now, what I notice, and one of the things I think is worth me pointing out is almost when I see people too articulate and using such big words to explain something that I don't know these people. Maybe they do talk like that. Maybe they do. But I speak to a lot of people all the time, and rarely do I have this, you know, like we're in Victorian England conversations about the dynasty of the legacy of the AI and stuff. Most people say I'm using a bit of AI, so that's where I notice it massively is when it's really overly written, and that's I get that ick, and then I also get that on the comments. And you're absolutely right. I get hundreds of LinkedIn messages, which is fine. You know, you do you. You got to kind of get out there, but it's when it's just they haven't taken the time. If someone says, "Hey Matt, I've seen you've done X, Y, and Z. It'd be good to have a chat about," I'll have that conversation. But when it's so generic, it's more off-putting, and it generally does. It generally does just sort of yeah, instantly. Yeah, I don't even just don't even reply. No, I just ignore
I
it.
don't even read the whole message anymore.
It's like someone coming up to me in the street with a clipboard, you know, headphones in, pretend I'm
Or coming
about to
to
make a
your
phone call.
door,
They
knocking
know,
on the
yeah,
door.
coming to the door. Oh my God, even worse. Then I've got to think
But I
really
can
quick about
imagine
the light.
that's the funny thing is as well, that's how it feels, when you're not even connected with someone and they've sent it in an in mail or something and it's all written by like AI and stuff. That's how it feels. It feels like someone's come to my door, knocked on my door and forcing leaflets down my throat.
Absolutely, absolutely. The only thing is, if they come to my door, they actually put the effort in. At least I'll come up with a lie about why I don't want to talk
Yeah.
to them. On LinkedIn, I can
Or
just say,
hide under the
you know,
table.
just ignore, hide under the table, close the curtains. Only house in the street with the curtains closed at 12 o'clock in the day. Um, so yeah, so I think then it's AI is it's a jumping off point. Yeah, it's for me, writer's block. I'm not a writer, but
Mhm.
sitting looking at a blank screen sometimes, and before AI, the amount of times I would either have to create a report, create a presentation, any kind of piece of content that needs to be there and needs to have some pizzazz. I kind of always knew what the content would be and knew how I would want to get there, but that initial where do I even start, and being able to go into something like ChatGPT or any of the tools and say, I need to create a presentation for a board and it needs to have these points. And having that structure created for is a God, that's the breath of release I actually need. That's the bit that actually makes a massive difference for me. Because I'm a creative person by nature. I don't want to be told this is the way it's going to be. And 9 times out of 10, I don't like anyone else's presentations and stuff. I want them to be a bit skitty and a bit sort of random because that's me. Well, AI can never be. You're smiling then, yeah, you're absolutely skitty and random. But that is that. but having that writer's block removed and having that thing, I think that's how I use AI. And we brainstormed some ideas here, didn't we, before this
Mhm.
chat about some of the things we could talk about, and it's very American. Nothing wrong with that at all. But that doesn't translate to a West Country boy and a Birmingham girl. That doesn't come across. And we had a right laugh about how that would come across. And we scrapped it all. We made about 6 notes, and we're just having this conversation. And I think that is case in point about why you can't just rely on AI and just putting it through,
Mhm.
which was one of the prompts that I put up there around about sometimes I put that in and say that, this is what I want to talk about. And it's just dry and it's just not me and it's just not my voice. But I guess it's opening it up that for sort of creativity. So how do you, Jamie, use AI in day-to-day sort of basis? What tools do you use and what sort of products do you use?
Wow, it's funny because some of the tools that I use have now started incorporating AI, and I don't always use them. So I'll use a tool called Grammarly. That's like to check your spelling and grammar. It's in the name. That now has an AI tool built in, so you can generate content. Don't use it very often, but it is good to have. And then obviously, Canva as well has a new AI. Yeah, yeah, that's so basically what it is you've got Canva, but within Canva you can
Yeah.
create an image or a graphic using a few words. It's not very good. Right, graphics a few times and it
Yeah.
just comes back with nonsense.
Okay.
However, I did need a photo created not long ago. Don't ask me why, but I needed a image of someone about to eat an elephant. And obviously I ain't gonna
All
find
I'll
that anywhere unless it's
think about now for the
custom.
next 5 minutes is why you needed that image, by the way, but that's fine. I'll pretend I'm listening to what you're
Have you
saying.
ever
Yeah.
heard of the saying, "Don't try and eat the whole elephant at once"? Yeah, well, that's a saying, and it was
Couldn't eat a whole
related to a
elephant.
piece of content I was writing for a client. So then
Right.
I got Canva because I couldn't find an
Yeah.
image of
Yeah.
this, but so I typed that into the AI part of Canva, and it
Yeah.
gave me quite a good image of a man
Okay.
standing with a knife and fork looking at an elephant. So that was one. So it is beneficial. It's good to have. I don't use it very often. An
Yeah.
app that I always use, everyone uses it now, ChatGPT. However, like I'm very careful with the way I use it. I like to do my brain because I'm very concerned as well that my attention span and my creativity is going to go if I use ChatGPT and AI too
Mm.
much, and that's not something I want to happen. So a lot of my
No.
brainstorming, I'll try and do pen and paper before I've even like hit
Yeah.
ChatGPT. If I'm having a really bad brain day, then I might use it a little bit more, but I try and do my brainstorming pen and paper before I use ChatGPT to expand that further, and I think that's where it's enhancing creativity because it's if you're using your own ideas and then just enhancing it with an app and, it's gonna be more personalized. So that's how I use it for brainstorming. I use it for formatting content and stuff and sometimes getting a
Mm.
first draft of something. What I
Yeah.
do
Definitely.
though is, obviously take that content out and completely reword it, use my own language, use my own, like make sure, like,
Mm.
if I'm using stats, make sure they're actually
Yeah.
correct because ChatGPT isn't always correct. Add my own kind of bits and pieces in. A good thing it can be used for as well is repurposing content. Now, as a marketer, like, and someone who posts on LinkedIn
Evergreen.
quite a lot,
Yeah.
I have to repurpose a lot of content, whether
Of
that's
course.
rewording a piece of content that's gone out for a personal page, and rewording that to sound more like an article, or
Mm.
change the language so it's better suited for a company page. Again, always better to take it out, rewrite it in your own, and never copy and paste and post.
Yeah.
Never do that.
Okay.
But yeah, I use it
Okay.
for
Go on.
that.
Yeah.
What else do I use it for? Obviously, personal stuff, answering
Okay.
questions.
Yeah.
I was having problems with an InDesign document. Our
Yeah,
client needed a catalogue changed. So I was just chat GPT and how do I do this? How do I do this? So much easier than just Googling or trying to watch a whole video, how to video,
definitely.
especially if you're on like limited time. So I use it for simple stuff like that if I'm having problems with something. Use it in my personal life a little bit as well. If I'm having, if I'm ill and I'm worried that I'm gonna get some sort of terminal
Right.
illness, I'm asking
Yeah.
ChatGPT to diagnose me,
And how do
as
you
we all
find
used to do
that?
with
Do you
Google.
find, because my fear always is if I've ever got something wrong with me and then I look on Google, I'm dying. I've got like a day to live. And it's the worst thing.
Well,
Is ChatGPT as drastic as that, or is it a little bit more relaxed? What do you find the results? I haven't used it
I
yet,
don't
but I'm
know.
probably gonna just Google some chat some symptoms in a minute.
Well, I don't know how your ChatGPT talks to you, but my
Yeah,
ChatGPT talks to me very soft. So it's
right.
like it speaks to you in a way to put, like, your mind at ease, so it'll say, like, "It is
Okay.
probably just this. Make sure, like, you go to the doctors if, like,
Uh,
you start feeling like this." It's very calm and relaxing. It's a lot less scary, I think, than when I used to Google my symptoms.
so my chat GPT, I've started to refine it now, and I've actually asked it to be a bit more snarky, and a bit more sort of a bit more sort of bitey at me because it kept just saying, "That's great, that's a great idea" and stuff. And I was like, "No, no, 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 please don't tell me that. That's the last thing I need." Because trust me, the last thing I need is for everyone to tell me that's great. I need people to tell me it's rubbish. And look at that. I've said people, didn't I? It's almost like that is someone. I do see that chat bot that I have there, the amount of content that I put through it, the amount of thoughts and ideas, it probably knows as much about me as friends and different things at this time. I don't do personal stuff in there. I'm just trying to think. I'm just looking down the sort of list of mentally in my head now. It's sort of it's work stuff. It's some
Mm.
creativity. It's things. I don't think I've gone down the kind of personal route, but I might just do it as a test point and see what that sort of looks like. Yeah. So then I'll just talk about some of the ways that I use it and some of the things that I do. So I do use Canva. I use Canva a lot. I don't think I've ever used it at all for the AI, the kind of those parts. So I will check that out, but it sounds like it's still got some problems. Chat I use all of the time. Absolutely. I use it for statistics. I use it for helping me with keywords for the videos and for other things, certainly around social and whether I'm using it correctly or not. But I quite often will say, this is what we're here talking about in this. And actually at the moment today on whatever the date is, are these keywords still relevant and popular? And it tells me that they are. So this is the thing, I'm putting it all in the trust of the internet, but who knows? But at the moment, it seems to be working quite well. Grammarly, absolutely. When I first started using Grammarly, um, terrible speller. I've always struggled with that. You picked out one today. My mind certainly moves faster than my fingers. So and I get to the end and it's some sort of gibber. So how I use Grammarly very much is I've, I started using it as a spell checker because I don't see all of the spelling mistakes sometimes, and I just run through it. My brain certainly runs faster than my fingers and my eyes can sort of see these things. I've got verbal diarrhea, I think, in that respect, and then actually putting that content onto words isn't always it. So Grammarly came along; it was the best thing ever. So I chucked it all into Grammarly, and my first thing that I started to do was just click yes, 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 yes for everything, thinking that that's sorting it all out. And actually, what it was doing is just changing the whole document. Then I saw that it had the AI side of things, and then I stopped using that because I found that the AI side of things was again affecting the way that I spoke. So I really just use Grammarly as a grammar tool. It's also quite good if you're looking at because we all take inspiration from everywhere. Certainly when we're writing articles, and you might have seen something, you might have quoted something. It's got a plagiarize tool in there as well. I quite often use that because you take facts and stuff, and you think, well, am I taking the facts here, or am I actually just taking someone's idea? So that's always good for that. But I guess the main one that I use, Google, here's another one. I've sort of moved over to Google Docs recently and everything. I've tried to use Gemini, whether it's just me or it's Gemini, but I personally it doesn't work for me like chat does. The prompts and the asks that I ask it to do just simply don't come out. So I guess in this big world of AI and different things, and I've sort of tinkered with stuff, I think ChatGPT is the main one that I use, and everything else always feels like a weak second, a weak third, or a weak fourth. I don't know what you think, and I think that probably is the same around what you touched on with Canva, and Canva's basically image generation not being so good. I don't use image generation for ChatGPT, although I played around with it when it first came. So yeah, just interested. But what I do use it for is calendars. And so I've integrated my Gmail now into ChatGPT and getting it to look at my calendars, find spaces, find time. That's amazing. That's actually revolutionized the way that I kind of plan in time. That's really good. Writing a draft, and what it can also do now is I can say, write a draft or give me a header and a footer, and that can open up a Google Mail for me, which is really good. Explaining tech to non-tech people. I used to use that, not so much now. What I actually do nowadays is try and think about how I might explain that to my child or to someone a bit more elderly. And I find that actually
Mm,
that is better. I think when you use the computer to try and explain it, again, it just takes all of those away. I use it for
mm,
brainstorming, getting those buzzy headlines that people probably see sometimes on LinkedIn and different things, and then really to review to make sure I'm not mad on some of the stuff I've written. So when I write a document, no matter what it is, I will always chuck that into ChatGPT and just say, "What do you think of this?" And it's always positive. It always says, "That's great. I think that's a really good
great
sort of
job.
thing." But yeah, great job, Matt. That's the best thing I've ever seen. And then I say, no, but really, is it good and stuff? So those are sort of main functions that I've got. So you talked about AI with your mental health. Do you ever talk to Chat GPT and have a bit of a witter and a conversation with it, and find that you're almost talking? You you never forget that you're not talking to a computer, but have you ever caught yourself? I have. I'll let you answer first and see where that goes.
Yeah. Like, it kind of feels like you're talking to, like, a friend that's got very good
Yeah.
advice.
Yes.
And I know that, like, one of my friends in particular, she uses it for that as well. Like, if she's got, like,
Mm.
a
Okay.
question
Yeah.
regarding her personal life, and I've had enough of listening to it and giving
Yeah.
advice,
This is it.
then she'll stick in ChatGPT. But yeah, like, even if I'm having, like, a bit of a hard time, with work, or I don't know, if something's happened, and when I was quitting smoking, for instance, and I was having
Mm. Mm.
breakdowns every day,
Yeah.
I was like, when will the hell end? When will I feel better?
Where will this
Um,
end? Where will the pain end?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I've used it I don't really use it that much
Yeah.
for that sort of stuff. It's very every now and again kind of thing, but I do have
Mm.
friends that use it for that, using it kind of as a therapist a little bit. And I've seen online as well, like when I've been scrolling through TikTok and stuff, a lot of other
Mm.
people have said they've been using it as like a therapist. And like talking about relationship problems and yeah, mental health problems and stuff to ChatGPT, which
Okay.
I find crazy really, because it's not a person, is it? But I suppose it
Well,
is
so
all of
my
us if you think about it. It is all of us,
it's
because it
all of
gets
us. It's
all
all
its
of us. It's
information
all
from us.
Omni. We're
Yeah.
in the actually in the matrix. How I found myself doing that the other day, I was in the car and I started a chat call in the car, and I was asking it actually to look at my calendar for lining up people for the podcast, and just saying that I've spoken to the way you can talk, right? So I've spoken to X, Y,
Mhm.
and Z. These are their emails. You've already got a record of them because I've asked you to sort of create a list of the people, start looking at times. So we went through that, and it was really helpful and started doing that. And then I started asking it some ideas about some of the topics that I thought might be useful. And then what I found was doing, rather than going, thank you, and move on, I was then saying, no, 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 actually, no, I don't want you to do. And I realized I'd driven for about 50 minutes and I was having a conversation like I might do to you, or I might like do to a partner, or anyone on the thing. And I'm having a natural language conversation. And I think for a tool that is essentially free or incredibly cheap, if you just sort of on the paid plans, it's wild that that's where we are today. So that's definitely something I've noticed. And I know it's not really helping you talking about creativity in marketing, but I think these conversations really do unlock how we all use AI, and it's quite cool.
Do you ever get angry with AI
Yeah, all the time. Really
if
snappy
it's
with
not
it.
giving you
Yeah, I've
the answer
started
you
to get
want? I
a
get
bit
wound up.
more. Absolutely, absolutely. I do, and I go, no, no, you've got that completely wrong. What are you doing? Try it again. And then they're always so
No,
happy. They're always so happy. Like,
exclamation mark.
yeah, and they're always so happy. Oh no, yeah, you're absolutely right. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So that's the problem. Yeah, and I think this
No,
maybe
and then I
caused a
feel bad
problem in the
after.
real world. I'm really sorry, chat. Can we have a chat about this? I shouldn't have spoken to you like that earlier. Right,
Mhm.
detour by certainly we went right off. AI, LinkedIn. How can Okay, so I'm starting a LinkedIn account today. Seeing it, it's important. You know, everyone's told me I need to get on LinkedIn. How can AI help me? What practical tips would you say that someone without any budget, not much time, they've got an AI account, we'll just say chat at this point, and they've got a
Mm.
LinkedIn account and they've got a profile picture. What would that workflow look like for you? What do you think? What would you say to someone? These are the things you should do.
Are we talking about someone who's not a copywriter as well, not used to
Yeah, I think
writing?
so. I think
Yeah,
for me, this is Dave. He's called Dave. I don't know why he's called Dave. It's a great name.
Dave from
It's called Dave.
IT.
Dave from IT has decided, right, it's time for me to either further my career, help my company
Mhm.
grow, or I just want to raise my profile. I want people to know that I exist online. So maybe I can look for new jobs, or maybe I can just start to get to invited to more events and stuff. So he wants to do
Yep.
that. Everyone's been telling him, you need to get on LinkedIn, you need to get on LinkedIn. He's kind of techie, so he's happy to use ChatGPT. That's certainly not going to bother him. What would you say? What would your sort of plan be for this guy, Dave?
So for Dave, no support, no budget, wants to write himself. I would say, first things first, setting up his profile properly. Making sure he's got a decent profile picture. His bio states in the first sentence exactly what he does and who he does it
Mm,
for. His bio has some form of results in it. He can get
mm,
ChatGPT as long as he gives the ChatGPT the information that it needs. A ChatGPT can create a rough draft, which he can then edit to make sure that it sounds like
yeah,
him and it doesn't sound robotic.
yeah,
So he can use it for that. Next thing is he needs to think about his strategy behind his posting. So,
okay,
um, obviously, the main step for a lot of people is just to be consistent and to just get in the habit of writing and
yeah,
posting on LinkedIn. But it is always good to have a strategy behind it and some content pillars because, like, it's going to be easier going forward then to come up with the content ideas and to know what you need to
yeah,
post so you're going in the right direction. And then you could adjust the strategy as you go. But for the average person who's just posting, I'd say have free content pillars. For Dave from IT, that's going to be software. He wants to talk about some sort of software. He wants to talk about his past career experiences, what he's done for people, how he's helped people if he's looking for a new job, say.
yeah,
And then he wants to talk, I would say maybe this is completely off the top of my head,
yep,
software, and then I'd say maybe just personal insights, news, like stuff that's going on, commenting on industry news. Everyone loves that word,
mm,
industry news, but commenting on industry news, what's going on, his
yeah,
opinions, and even just like more personal stuff like stories and stuff where he's messed up in the past. So yeah, having free content pillars, which once Dave has decided on his content pillars, then
yeah,
he can put those into ChatGPT and generate some content ideas.
perfect. Yes.
ChatGPT will then give you, a load of like prompts, really, of what he
Uh,
can talk about. And that's when he can put
uh,
his own experience in it. So, say if ChatGPT says, talk about
Go on,
your,
go super
I don't know,
techie, go super
recent
techie here.
experience. I'm trying to think of something for Dave from
Yeah.
IT.
For
Maybe.
Dave, for Dave. I'm sure he's got loads of exciting things going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't work in IT. Maybe that's what it is.
No,
But maybe one of the topics is tell me about a story of a
yeah,
success you've had in a business where a project's gone right. That's where he
uh,
can be like, this, that happened actually a few years back. I helped my old company
yeah,
get results with this new piece of software. I'll talk about that. And that's where he can like add his own thoughts into it. And then if he doesn't want to write the content himself, he can get ChatGPT to write it for him as a post.
yeah.
It's not going to be very good when
Your
he
face
drags it
changed
out of
then when you said that.
ChatGPT.
Yeah,
It's not
your
going to be
face
very
changed there
good.
when you said no. You're disgusted that he might use ChatGPT, but it would maybe help someone who is.
He's probably gonna need it though, because he's not a copywriter and because
Yeah,
however, like, he will take that piece of content then, hopefully, Dave, you will take that piece of content and you will go through it and you'll make sure that it's written the way you would speak, adding in your own words, maybe changing the formatting around a little bit, adding your own thoughts,
uh, uh,
yeah, and editing it and making it you.
yeah,
And
yeah,
hopefully Dave
yeah,
does that. If Dave doesn't do that, then it's just gonna look like anyone could have wrote it, because it's gonna clearly look like ChatGPT wrote it. And then yeah, and images, he could get a AI to make him a generated image, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't think at the minute anyway, generated AI images are the best. I'd suggest
no,
maybe a picture, maybe going into Canva and making himself like a nice little PDF document to explain his results. Obviously, there's loads of templates on Canva, so they're pretty easy to use. As an IT guy,
yeah,
I'd assume like he'd be quite good at using software like that anyway. And yeah, like, and then obviously, then he could go back and look at his analytics a month in and see what posts are doing the best and what posts aren't doing as well. Although sometimes the posts that aren't doing as well are actually the posts that people are going to want to see when they visit your page. So you shouldn't always focus
yeah,
on that. However, he could put his analytics into ChatGPT and say, like, this is what I've been doing. These are the stats at the minute. How could I improve this? And then he might get some tips off ChatGPT on how to improve it too. Yeah, so that's how Dave could use ChatGPT to start posting on LinkedIn.
I wish
Hope
I
that
was
helps,
Dave.
Dave.
Dave has just had Dave. Yeah, you are welcome, Dave. We've helped you there. Well, I did nothing. Jamie helped you. That was some free advice there for Dave. If you're a Dave, put something in the comments below if that did help you. I would
Yeah.
love to think that there is a guy called Dave now going, this is the video I've been looking for. This is it. So yeah. I
Make
mean,
sure you
we
edit,
would say,
Dave. Don't use it to write your
yeah,
comments.
yeah, exactly. We better get a like on this video for that. Yeah, I think that's probably wraps up today. I think that's been really interesting. We certainly discussed about it being killing creativity, how it stumps us in different ways. Some nice tips, some nice tools, and I think it's good for people just to hear people using the tools in the real world and stuff. So yeah, I think that's really great, and we'll continue to revert back to these. I think once every few weeks we'll jump on, use AI to see what the top ones are, and we'll try and talk to the world about it. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you for having me again. It's been a pleasure.
No, we'll do a proper long one soon, but this was a nice little interlude in between. It's a bonus episode, I think they say. So yeah, thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks,
Good. I
Matt.
think